Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Rustabout Collector here, and today we're looking at a bit of an older figure. This is the Call of Duty Frank Woods figure from Wave 2 of the McFarlane line. This was actually a video that one of you guys requested, and ordinarily I wouldn't just go out and make a request video, but these guys were $5 at a local Walmart, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to pick them up. I'll do a quick review on him. And even though I think the figure is kind of terrible, I'll just say that right off the bat, it's just not a great figure, it's not a great likeness to the character, there's a lot of things wrong with it. It is a really great figure for custom fodder, so at the end of this review, once I have reviewed the figure as it is, I will kind of go over just the different elements that you can take off this figure to use for various customs or whatever you might have in mind. So the box art is really just the same as always. They've got some really nice pictures as well as text to go along with the character, and all of it is very sleek looking. Definitely kind of like a Star Wars Black Series vibe with these boxes, the big picture window and all that. And then of course you have the character inside, and that's about it when it comes to that. So let's take it out of the box and we'll take a look at the figure, accessories, and articulation. As with all these figures, he does come with the stand, which is kind of needed for any McFarlane figure to stand on their own, just part of one of the kind of iffy design flaws that they have, but you know, it is what it is with that. So there's that. It also comes with this 2XP for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the newest game. I've got a bunch of these these paper codes. So if you want, go ahead and use this code right here. Whoever gets it first, congratulations. I'm not going to use it. I've got way too many of these sitting around. So you just go to Call of Duty, redeem, whatever, you log in with your Call of Duty account, and there you go. So congratulations to whomever just got double XP. I think it's like an hour of double XP, so there you go. That's always nice. And then for accessories, he comes with this backpack, which has a peg to slot it into his back, and then this really nicely detailed M16 or commando rifle, depending on if you're going by what it's officially called versus what the game calls it, but it's basically just the commando from Black Ops and Black Ops 2. But it has some really nice sculpting detail, a little bit of weathering over it just to kind of make it pop with all the detail. And overall, it's pretty nice. This is a good 1/12 scale weapon for any custom or really just, you know, anything like that, especially if you like Call of Duty. And then onto the figure himself, he's using the more upgraded mold that they've used with like the Captain Price figure and stuff, basically all the Series 2 figures. Series 1 with like Soap McTavish and those figures was just really under-articulated. Good detail, but just badly articulated. So I'm glad that they have at least upgraded that. So you get like a ball jointed head up here, a double ball jointed head actually, so you get lots of side to side, left to right, good head articulation. He's got butterflies and a hinge and a swivel at the shoulder, so he can get up to 90. He can go forward. He can't really crunch inward, you know, he can't really get past all of the chest detail there. And he can't really get his arms down to his side flat. He does also have double jointed elbows, which gives a nice crunch there, and then he's got hinge and a swivel at the wrist, giving plenty of articulation there. However, this swivel joint, just like with Ghost, is painted, so if you're moving it a lot, it will just chip right off. Underneath is a skin tone ball joint, but it's kind of a weird choice that they would paint that over because it really does just chip off instantly. He also does have torso articulation, but there's really not much you can do with it. It's a ball joint, and you can get a little bit of forward. You can spin side to side, but there's really not much else you can do there. He also has a swivel at the waist, but you really can't move it that much with all of the pouches and everything surrounding his waist. And then he has the typical McFarlane hip joints where it goes forward, you get outward, and then it goes down to a double jointed knee, which I haven't broke in yet, so it's a little bit tricky to actually get this to pop. And there you go, that's the double jointed knee that he has, which is pretty nice. Overall, that's probably the best feature with these new figures, is just the better articulation with the leg. And then he has a hinge and a swivel at the foot, as well as a little toe articulation joint there, which allows for some better posing. That about does it for the articulation, and there's just one more point to note on this figure that is really nice. He has amazing tattoo detail on his arm. You can see here he's got his unit marking there with the wolf and the flames going up. On the inside, he's got a bulldog smoking a cigar, some lettering up there that I can't quite read. Over here, he's got the Special Operations Group logo or insignia, and then Semper Fidelis in here on his inner arm, which is the motto of the U.S. Marines. It means always faithful. The tattoo detail on this figure is really exceptional. I wish that they had been able to do this with the Modern Warfare Ghost figure that they just released. It would have been amazing to see this level of detail with the tattoos going up Ghost's arm as well. But I think that they based that figure off of some early concept art where there was no tattoos, and so we're not going to get that on that figure, unfortunately. Now that's all the good stuff about this figure. He does have good leg articulation, good paint detail there on his arms, but apart from that, he has a really weird face sculpt. I don't really think that that looks like Frank Woods, even in game. It's a really strange likeness. So that's one point where I'm not terribly fond of this figure. The other thing too is they chose a really weird outfit for him, just with all these extra pouches and baggage, and it just makes him look bulky and stocky, and it doesn't make for a very interesting figure, especially not to have displayed anywhere. And so I'm not terribly fond of that either. And then last but not least, he does not really hold his weapon that well. Even though I did it off camera, he does hold his weapon, but it is really tough to get it into his hands. They're molded out of a very tough plastic, and it just does not want to, allow anything there. So he does hold it with two hands pretty well. I mean, it's not the worst I've ever seen, but it just doesn't look terribly natural. He can't really get it into his shoulder, and I've had issues where his hand will just pop right off the grip, and yeah, it leaves something to be desired for me. Maybe you like it, maybe you love this character, and this is like the perfect figure for you. I have nothing wrong with that. This is just my opinion. I'm not terribly fond of this figure, and I plan to use these for custom fodder for some of my other designs that I have in the works, and not really keeping this character at all. The final thing is he does have this backpack, and it does slot in there pretty well, and it won't fall out. That's a pro for this figure, really. It just pops right in there, and then it's not going to just fall off or anything. So there's that. That is the Frank Woods character from Black Ops and Black Ops 2. Again, like I said, if you like this character, if you're fond of that series, like the Black Ops series, pick up this figure. Why not? It's probably going pretty cheap right now. It's definitely one that peg warmed for a while, so you might be able to find it on clearance in your local Walmart, and if you can, that's great. Like, really, this is just my opinion, and if you disagree with me on any of these points, that's totally fine. But now I'm just going to show you some of the different options for customization. First of all, this is a really awesome 1/12 weapon, like I said before. So if you want this for a custom, definitely pick this figure up because it's worth it for just this sculpt alone. Then you have the backpack, which could be utilized for something. I plan to trim off this top bit here and use it for like a Mimbin Stormtrooper backpack or something. Add some soft goods over the top to make it look like a tunic or something, and it should work just fine for that. And then all of these pouches and different things are actually fairly easily removed from the character. And I know, if you guys watch this for a review and not for a custom tutorial, you're probably going to hate this part, but you can basically just pop these off. They're not glued on terribly well. So there's a nice pouch there. You can then come over here and you can take off his waistband pouches just by, ripping through the glue. It's not that hard at all to remove these. And so there you have some nice pouches. You could slice these in between and have individual pouches for a custom, which is what I'll be doing with these. You can also come in here and rip off the grenades. Those are just glued on there as well. You've got 2 frag grenades and 2 smoke grenades that can come off. Then you also have this combat knife, which is the same soft rubber. That will just come right off just like that. And then you finally have this one, which this one is glued on just a little bit more. So it's a little tough, but just like that, you've got all the pouches off, and The figure is basically now ready to just go into a fodder bin somewhere. I plan on keeping these. I've got a couple of these now that I've used the parts off of, so I plan on keeping the base figures for, you know, maybe future use, but right now I just don't have a use for them. Apart from these really awesome pouches. So this bandolier here will go on my Minbin Stormtroopers. The backpack will go to the Minbin Stormtroopers. And then these individual pouches and grenades will just go to various customs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review and kind of custom breakdown, and hopefully it was helpful. Enjoy that double XP to whomever entered that code for your Call of Duty account. And that about wraps it up, guys. So, like I said, if you like this figure, like this character, by all means pick it up, but it's just not for me. As always, there is a link down to my social media in the description. You can check it out there if you like. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.